We're gonna do right now is make the American buttercream, and it is on the sweet side, but it is really easy to make, and it's easy to like troubleshoot if in case if it's, you know, it doesn't come out right, you know, you can, there's easy ways to make it come together. I have 4 sticks of butter here, which is 2 cups of butter. And then I have my half a teaspoon of salt. I have some vanilla. This is just Walmart vanilla. If you could get, there's better vanilla that you can buy, but I keep it simple, everything, you know, especially cost-wise, because vanilla is expensive. But if you're all about a good vanilla, definitely try, you know, find a better vanilla that you like. And it'll definitely enhance the flavor and all of that. And then heavy cream. I use heavy cream. I think it works the best. You could use water, you could use, and this is just to kind of cream it together so that way it's not so stiff, because with the butter and the powdered sugar it can kind of get a little stiff, so this kind of helps kind of dilute that. But the heavy cream is really nice because it's what it's in its name. It just creams it together really, really nicely. I don't like using water, but you can if you want. And I don't like using milk. I used to use milk before I started using this, and I could notice the difference. So we're gonna use this, about 3-4 tablespoons of this. And then I have 2 pounds of powdered sugar here. If you don't have it measured out, it's okay, because we're just gonna dump it right in there like that. Some people say to sift it, and I used to sift it, but I don't anymore because there's not that much of a difference, and it's more work to sift powdered sugar than to just not, you know, to just not sift it, especially since it's not needed. Really, it's really not needed. But if you want to sift it just to make it finer and really blend together, you can. I have my KitchenAid mixer. I've had this mixer since I started about the time I started cake decorating. At first I was using a neighbor's mixer, and then back then, and then finally I was able to get one of these. And I love this because it does the work for me. I just dump everything in there and it does it all. And if you do have one, or if you want to purchase one, it does come with 3 attachments, one being the paddle attachment, which is what we're going to use today. And then I'm going to use my rubber spatula. This works really nice when you're trying to scrape everything. It just works better than anything else to kind of get everything out. So a rubber spatula is good. And I also have our food coloring. I'm gonna color the whole thing pink. That's gonna be our base color. You can use any color that you want. I do recommend gel food coloring. And the brands that I use, I have Wilton. This is Wilton food coloring pink, and then this is Americolor. So these are gel food coloring, and they're just more concentrated than just water-based food coloring. So I have my butter here, and the butter, I just buy whatever the cheapest. Some butter is lighter, some butter is, you know, more yellow than others, but just get what get what you can. And like I said, I buy whatever is on sale. So you want your butter to be at room temperature, and I just wanted to show you what I mean by room temperature and the consistency that you want your butter to be. You want your butter, if you press on it, you know, it still holds its shape. It's not, you know, like melting. You still want it to hold its shape so that way it creams together real well with the powdered sugar. Now, sometimes I don't have my butter at room temperature, and if you don't have it at room temperature, you can always put it in the microwave for 10 seconds at a time, about 9 to 10, around there, because if you forget about it, it will melt and then you won't have any butter. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my mixer, put all 4 sticks in there. And I'm gonna put my paddle attachment in there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cream my butter. Now I'm gonna put you a little closer so you can see. Hopefully you can kind of see inside the mixer. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and just cream it together, let the butter mix together. Get it broken up a little bit. You wanna put it at the high speed you can. And you can also mix it a little bit too. If you wanna mix it for a few minutes, it'll start getting lighter in color. And it's good to start off with a light, start off that way, so that way when you're adding everything else, it just gets lighter and lighter, so that way it doesn't have that yellow tint when you're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix it up. I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick. So it's not necessary to let it beat for a while, but I just wanted to add that tip in there if you want to, because I've seen it, you know, you see it so many different ways to make the same thing. So, all right, so let's go ahead and add some vanilla. So I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add my salt. And I'm gonna open up my powdered sugar. So like I said, you can dump it in a bowl if you want, measure it out if you want to, and just, you know, add it in there. Which I have a tutorial, which that's what I do. I just add it in there that way. But this is way easier to do it this way. So we put our ingredients in there, the vanilla, the salt, and the salt is just to balance that sweetness. You know, you don't want it to be too sweet, so that salt kind of helps with that. So when you're putting the powdered sugar in there, always start with low speed, because if you don't, the powdered sugar will just all come out and you'll be dusted with powdered sugar all over the place. So let's go ahead and start on low speed, and I'm just gonna add it in. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So I'm gonna let that mix together. So you wanna add, if you have it in a bowl, just add maybe like 2 cups in there, and then it'll start to absorb with the butter, cream with the butter. My mixer kind of sounds weird. Like I said, it's old. It's not that old, but it got some years on it. So let's go add some more. Once you notice that it's starting to cream with the butter, you can turn it up a little bit more, so that way it kind of hurries up and gets all the rest of the little bits. And then turn it up a little bit if you want. And if you're using if you don't have a mixer and you're using a hand mixer, just put a little bit of powdered sugar on a time, because usually those mixers are like, the hand mixers, they go pretty quickly when you turn them on. And then you would just beat the butter first a little bit and then add a little bit at a time if you're using a hand mixer. But it's easier if you have this, if you're able to have this, a stand mixer. So I'm gonna add some more. This is how easy it is. Soon we're gonna add some of that heavy cream. Mix up. So I think I told you this is about 2 pounds of powdered sugar. So I'm not gonna add all of it. just in case I need some for whatever reason. And that's the thing about cake decorating. You want to make sure you have a little extra of everything that you're making, because if not, you may have to start all over again. Like if I don't make enough buttercream, if I run out, I'd have to start this process all over again. So just, you know, try to think about that if you are going to make a cake for someone or something like that, or maybe you want to sell a cake, or just make sure you have extras of stuff, and it helps. Because I mess up every time I make a cake. In some way or another, I mess up in some way. So, but that's how it is, you know, when you do anything. Ooh. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start getting my heavy cream. So I'm going to pour about 3 or 4 tablespoons in my little dish here. Then I can just pour in what I want. So I don't know if you can see. There's one thing we didn't do, was we didn't scrape the bowl. So let's do that. So I'm going to take it off the paddle attachment so you can see the consistency of it right now. And if you do scrape it, you'll notice it's still kind of tough to go around it. Still really, really kind of stiff. So we're gonna add that heavy cream to loosen it up. Now, certain projects that you do, certain cakes that you make, may need a stiffer buttercream. If you're gonna be piping, you want your buttercream, excuse me, to be a little stiffer, so that way when you're piping, it holds its shape. But if you're gonna be, you know, frosting a cake, you want it to be smooth enough to spread the buttercream on the cake, but still stiff enough that it holds its shape and it's not melting off the cake. Oh. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some heavy cream. So just to show you, I'm gonna put a tablespoon in. Another one, I'm gonna do like 2. And see what that gets me. And then turn it up. You can turn it up to medium-high speed. And I'm gonna just let it do its thing. But what I should say is that as it's mixing on the medium-high speed, it's gonna start to kind of double in size. You're gonna notice that it's getting lighter, fluffier, and it looks like it's more buttercream is in there. So once it's all incorporated all together, it's gonna start to look really, really good. So you can kind of see there, get this. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. I don't see any comments, so I don't know if you are commenting on this or not, but I'm assuming you're not because I don't see any. I would assume that it would just pop up there. All right. So I'll even show you the consistency of it now. You notice that it's not as stiff as it was. And I got some buttercream on my shirt. I don't like wearing aprons, so that's just me. I get hot. And that's another thing. If you're starting to feel hot, the buttercream is probably warm too. So if you're making a cake, making buttercream, it's good to have your air conditioning a little low, so that way your house stays cool, everything stays cool. And you don't have to worry about your buttercream melting on you. So you can kind of see there. So I'm gonna let it mix a little more, and then we'll color it. I mean, what I put about 2 to 3 tablespoons of the heavy cream in there, and it's, you know, it's pretty spreadable. And I can show you with a butter knife or with a spoon. You can see, you know, this is good spreadable. So that's what you want. You want it to be spread with ease like that. All right, so I'm gonna just mix this up a little more. Actually, while it's mixing, I can go ahead and put my food coloring in there. So like I said, I'm gonna do it all pink. You can do whatever color you want. So I'm just gonna, it's easier if you have a little squeeze bottle, but I wanna finish this pink that I have. It's almost done. I'm just gonna use the rest of it. If I wouldn't put it back in unless I was gonna throw this out once I was done. You'd want to get like something else to put it in here. That way you don't have buttercream in here. But this is basically done, so I'm just getting all the rest of the color out. But don't do that if you can. If you have the water-based food coloring like from the store, that's fine. Don't think you have to have gel food coloring. You know, use what you got. And throw this out. So I'm gonna get this food coloring I got on the sides here. I'm gonna color that pink. And it's much easier to mix it in the mixer instead of doing it by hand. So you can kind of see it's turning pink there. Maybe I should put a light over here. You think you're, thank you, hey Anna. Somebody commented. So if your buttercream is too thick, add another tablespoon of the heavy cream. And then it should loosen up. So since we're coloring this pink or whatever color that you want to color it, it's okay if it's, you know, like I said earlier, the lighter and fluffier your buttercream will get if it's, you want it to be like a white color. If you're not coloring your buttercream at all and it still looks a little yellow, try to mix it up a little more. But if it's still a little yellow, you can always add a very, 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 very small amount of purple food coloring, and that just cancels out the yellow and it'll get a little whiter. So that's a tip if you're concerned if your buttercream is yellow. You know, everybody wants that beautiful white, buttercream. But since we're coloring it, we don't have to worry about that. But if you're okay with it, then that's fine too. All right, frosting looks good. We had a mishap with our cake, so we won't be able to make the mini cake today, but following along. Awesome. Yes, this is why this is good, because you can, what was the mishap, if you don't mind me asking? But, yes, and if you add too much liquid to it, just go ahead and add some more, I say like a tablespoon, just a little bit at a time of the powdered sugar if it's too liquidy. And that should help. And then you can balance that again with the heavy cream if you need to. So you just play with those two things, and then you get to the consistency that you want, which is you want it to be spreadable but still holds its shape. So I'm gonna go ahead and check on this. Oh no, you dropped the cake taking it out of the oven. Oh my gosh. I would be so mad too. We have to make cake pops. Yep. And yeah, you can make cake pops. You can make little, you can make anything. You can save those pieces and kind of make like a little cake jar. You can put it in like a little cup, like a little parfait type of thing. You take pieces of cake, put it in there, buttercream, cake, buttercream, top, you know, and put a little topping on there too, if you want to enjoy it that way. So my buttercream, there's still pink streaks in there, so I need to keep beating it up to get those streaks out. But periodically try to scrape down the bottom, the sides of the bowl. Are you guys making buttercream? Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and beat this a little bit more just to get all that together, and then we're gonna go into the cake. All right. Try to stay on schedule. Okay, awesome. You're making the buttercream. Oh, one thing I didn't do, I didn't taste it. So let me taste it, make sure. Spoon's right here. Make sure it tastes how I want it to taste. How it's supposed to taste, right? Alright, that should be good. Alright, so I'm just gonna scrape it all off here. It gets messy. So I was gonna taste it. So let me. And you bite into it, not bite into it, but when you eat it, you know, it should like kind of melt in your mouth a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna put that to the side. Did you guys taste your buttercream? How does it taste? So there it is. So we just want to mix it a little bit. Also, if you notice some like air bubbles and stuff, you can mix it on low speed, which I should have did. Maybe I'll do that right now, just to show you. So let me put my thing back in. It's good. Is this your first time making buttercream, you guys, or have you made it before? So I'm gonna let this mix a little bit. You can let it mix a little bit on low speed if you want. If you already took it out, it's okay. I know like I said, there's so many different ways to make buttercream. But I'm gonna mix it on low here just to get some of those air bubbles out. Because when we pipe on there, you don't want those air bubbles when you're piping your buttercream on your cake. You don't want to see those air bubbles. You want it to look nice and smooth. And then one thing I didn't mention was that this is a crusting buttercream. So if it's out in the air, since there's so much sugar in there, it like has like a, I don't know, like a crust. Not that it crusts, but that's what it's called. But I think not the first time. Okay, so you made it before. Good. The heavy cream technique is great. Yes, it's the best. I don't like using water or milk. I have before. If I'm in a pinch, I'll do that. I try not to use water because I feel like it just dries it out. Yeah, you're not mixing it enough. Yeah. And really, I mean, you can mix it for like 10-15 minutes, really. because what you want to look for is you want it to get fluffy, light in color, and then you notice it double in size. So you want to wait for all of those things, and then at the end you want to cream it, make sure on low speed, so that way you kind of get those air bubbles out. 1 second. All right. I'm getting hot, so I had to turn my AC down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish this off and kind of clean up everything as this is going. You can kind of clean up your space so we can transition to the next thing. And I don't even, see, I still have a heavy cream here I didn't even need, but I'm gonna hold on to it over here. Yep, just clean up your space. So did you guys color your buttercream pink, or what colors did you guys choose to color your buttercream? I have buttercream all over my counter here, so I'm gonna clean up. All this so I can have a nice clean space. I always like reset everything, so you'll see me wiping down and getting ready for the next thing. Pink, good. I love pink. As you can see, if you follow me, I do a lot of pink and, you know, bright colors. Kind of clean my mixer off too. That noise. Okay. Try to get all this out of here. And then we'll mix it with the rubber spatula to kind of get those little, if there's any other little bubbles in there. Mixing it with the spatula helps a lot too. And also if your buttercream is sitting, like say you're done and you put it to the side, and then for about 15 minutes or something, and you want to go back to it, you want to mix it again a little bit, because when it's sitting there, it can get some more air pockets in there. All right. Okay, yeah, I figured. Nice seeing you guys. So your daughter's name is Mindy, then? Nice meeting you. All right, so there's kind of how it looks. So I'm just gonna give it a quick mix. So yeah, I was talking about how it crusts. So if you made buttercream before, you know what I mean. Sophia, did I say it right? I love it. I love that she's into cake decorating. I wish that I knew that I like to decorate cakes. I'm gonna tell you, when I started cake decorating and posting it and stuff, my mom, she was like in shock. She's like, where did she learn how to do this? Like how, why, you know? Cause I'm known for dancing and doing things like that, like dancing and performing. So cake decorating was more of it was a shock to all of my family and friends, really. They're like, what? She could cake decorate? I didn't know, you know? But when I started, I made everything in fondant. Everything had fondant on it. I don't know why I did that to myself, because fondant is hard. It's hard to make, I mean, hard to work with. So a lot of people stay away from it. A lot of bakers, they stay away from it. They don't want to deal with making cakes with fondant. But if you guys are interested in fondant too, maybe I can do something like that as well. Show you how to make, you know, fondant decorations, molds, and, you know, there's possibilities are endless when it comes to cake decorating. All right, so like I was saying about the buttercream crusting, I like that about this buttercream, because if I'm making cupcakes or making a cake and I accidentally hit it or something, it doesn't mess it up either. It stays, you know, it stays its shape. If I use a different type of buttercream, like a Swiss meringue buttercream, where it's soft and silky, that if it's at room temperature and you ding it for some reason, it will put a mark in it. So, but this, you don't really have to be as careful. So yeah, it's just so easy to use, and it's just a good go-to buttercream to use. And then just because it does crust, you want to cover it with plastic wrap, or I'm gonna use paper towel here because that's what I have until I'm ready. You want to cover it up. I just cover it up a little bit and just set it aside. Storage. You can keep buttercream in an airtight container for up to a week in the fridge, or you can place it in the airtight container in the freezer for up to 2 months. Before using the buttercream, let it thaw, then place it in the mixer until it's smooth, creamy, and ready to use. Congratulations, you've officially made American buttercream. If you would like to learn more, like how to build a cake and decorate a cake, click the description below to find out more and how you can join. Thank you and take care.